You are welcome to the Messiah Revelation Ministry, which is a prophetic end-time ministry preparing the world for the arrival of the Messiah, Yeshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He died for the sins of the world. He's coming again, this time to judge the world. The final trumpet of heaven has sounded based upon revelation that the Lord gave to me on August 27, 2013. In the last days, there are so many people who claim to be prophets and they purport to speak in the name of the Lord as prophet. Not everyone is a prophet. And today we are focusing on the calling of a prophet, and the purpose is to illuminate the work of the Lord's prophet and how the Lord's prophet is called. And I hope that there are a lot of people watching the video who might have been called by the Lord, but probably they are not aware that they are called by the Lord. And so somebody may not call himself or herself as a prophet, but he or she may be a genuine prophet of the Lord, but the person is not aware that she or he is a prophet of the Lord. And somebody may call himself or herself as a prophet, but he or she is not a prophet of the Lord. And so we are dedicating this video to prophetic calling. And we start by calling. When we say the calling of a prophet, what does it mean? It means the Lord calls you as a prophet and he commissions you as a prophet. And there is a difference between the two. And the difference is that prophets are called, and they are called even before they are born. Prophets are called before they are born. Their assignments are given to them before they are born. And it gets to a point when the prophet begins to start the work as a prophet. That is when the prophet is commissioned to be a prophet. What do I mean by saying a prophet is called before he's born? And this is what the Lord told the prophet Jeremiah. He told Jeremiah that before Jeremiah was born, when Jeremiah was in the womb of his mother, the Lord set him apart as a prophet. And I will also add that the prophets are called before the foundations of the earth, before the world was born, before the world was created by God. Prophets were called, and certain assignments were given to prophets before the foundations of the earth. The calling of a prophet. At what age will a prophet be called or be commissioned? And it varies. In the case of Samuel, he was called very early in his life. In the case of the prophet Jeremiah, he was called very early in the life. Whereas other prophets were called later in their lives. You can talk of Amos, you can talk about Elisha. The next question we ask ourselves is, how do you know you are a prophet? You are sitting down, you are working, and you may be a prophet, but you don't know that you are a prophet. So how do you know you're a prophet? How does a prophet know that he or she is a prophet? I'm saying this because there are a lot of people who are on the internet, and you can number them, probably millions of people on the internet. They are prophets. They are prophets of God, and they are masquerading as prophets of God. They are doing a lot of YouTube videos, and they are misleading the world, and the world believes them because they are able to predict one event. The event comes true, and so people think that those people are prophets, but they are not prophets. On the other hand, there may be somebody who is sitting somewhere, very quiet, sitting somewhere, and the person is a prophet of the Lord, has not predicted anything. Does it mean he's a prophet of the Lord? Yes, he's a prophet of the Lord. And before you know that you're a prophet of the Lord, and there are so many things which probably we need to consider at this point. How do you know you're a prophet of the Lord? Uh, the Lord himself will tell you you are a prophet of the Lord. And the case is Jeremiah. In the case of Jeremiah, it was the Lord himself who told Jeremiah that Jeremiah is a prophet. So the Lord himself will tell you you are a prophet. There are so many things that will come into your life, and it is God who is orchestrating those events, and all those events tell you that you are a prophet of the Lord. So how do you know you're a prophet of the Lord? The Lord himself will tell you, and he will tell you directly. And it is not all cases, but in some cases the Lord tells you directly that you are a prophet, as I said, the case of Jeremiah. And another example in the Bible is Samuel. The Lord called Samuel by name. Samuel heard a voice. He was in a place where he was the only person who heard a voice, and he didn't know, Samuel didn't know he was a prophet at that time. He didn't know how worthy he is, or he was. He didn't know his worth to the kingdom of the Most High. But he was a prophet, and he was a young guy, and the Lord called him, and he woke up, and the priest told him that when you hear the voice again, say, Lord, Lord, that servant heareth what you are saying. The priest knew that it was God who was calling Samuel, but Samuel didn't know that the Lord was calling him. Samuel didn't know, he was not aware that he was a prophet. So it took the Lord calling Samuel, and also the priest telling Samuel that it was God who was calling Samuel. It took those events to convince Samuel that he was a prophet of the Lord. So I will talk about the voice, direct voice from Elohim himself, to let you know that you are a prophet. The second thing, the second method or way by which you will know that you're a prophet is dream and visions. I will not go into details distinguishing between dreams and visions, but I would say that in dreams or visions, you see certain events, and those events are not ordinary events. And you hear some communications. These are spiritual communication. And the Lord speaks to his prophets through spiritual communication, and the communications are in the forms of dreams and visions. And so, how do you know that you're a prophet? You know that you're a prophet based upon the dreams and the visions that you have. And the Lord said in Numbers 12, verse 6, if there are any prophets among you, I'll speak to them in dreams and visions. And so it is one standard that the Lord has set. That distinguishes between true prophets of God and false prophets. And so, for true prophets of God, they don't call you a prophet, and probably you don't know you are a prophet, but you are a prophet based upon the dreams and the visions that you have. And these dreams have particular frequency, they occur very frequently, and they also have quality in terms of the quality of the dreams. So it's not every dream that means it is not every dream that you dream that um, confirm that you are a prophet or that signifies that you are a prophet. It depends upon the frequency of the dreams and the quality of the dreams. And so if somebody doesn't dream at all, it's likely that that person is not a prophet. And for prophets, they dream, and the dream starts early in their lives. So when you have a child who is a prophet or a prophetess, that child will be having a lot of dreams. And that is one of the indication that you are a prophet. You have dreams, and the dreams that you have are very spectacular. And it's like Joseph dreaming about the moon and the stars serving him. These are not usual dreams, they are divine dreams. And these are the dreams that the prophets of the Lord see. It is spiritual communication. And so, how do you know you're a prophet? You know you're a prophet of the Lord because of the frequency of the dreams and the quality of the dreams. You have to remember that dreams are spiritual communication, visions are spiritual communications, and the people that you see in dreams may not be ordinary people, even though you know people in your life, you see them in dreams. In some occasions, the people that you see in dreams, whether you know them or not, they may be angelic beings who appear to you and who are communicating to you in dreams. When you dream and you see somebody, it could be an angelic person who appears to you in the dreams. So how do you know you're a prophet? You know you're a prophet because of the dream that you dream, the frequency of the dreams, and the quality, the spiritual quality of the dream. And you know you're a prophet because the Lord speaks in Numbers 12:6. Numbers 12 verse 6, that if you are a prophet, he will speak to you in dreams and in visions. How do you know you're a prophet? Through encounters. And when I say encounter is an event that you meet in your life. It is an event or a person that you meet physically in your life, and that event shows you are a prophet because the Lord made it possible. The Lord orchestrated that event in your life to confirm that you are a prophet. And I can cite to Moses the event that he encountered the burning bush. You know that in the Bible, he encountered a burning bush. It was a spectacular event, unusual event, and that was a confirmation that Moses was a prophet of God. And Moses didn't know he was a prophet of the Lord. He was just doing his own business, walking around and eating and doing his own business. But he had an event, he encountered an event orchestrated by Elohim himself, spectacular event, and that was a confirmation that Moses was not an ordinary person. He was a vessel chosen by the Lord. And so you'll be watching certain events that you encounter, certain people that you meet. You may not know, but these are events confirming that you are a prophet. And we can talk about the encounter that Saul had on the road to Damascus. It was a spectacular encounter. He saw a light from heaven, and the light was too intense. He was even blinded by the light. The light was an encounter. It was the Messiah himself, the risen Messiah, Yeshua Jesus Christ, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, who revealed himself to Saul on the road to Damascus. Saul probably thought that it was an ordinary light, but it was not an ordinary light. It was the light of the world, so intense that Saul was blinded. He fell on the ground, and he also heard a voice of heaven, a voice from heaven, from the Messiah himself. And the Messiah told him that he is a chosen vessel of Elohim to do the assignment in the last days. It's very, very interesting. Let's focus on Saul. Saul was born. Did he know he was an apostle of the Lord? No. Did he live a life indicating he was an apostle of the Lord? No. He was working in the opposite direction. He was even preventing the spread of the message of the kingdom. He was killing prophets of the Lord. But he was a chosen vessel of the Lord. And his time for his commission had not come. And the time for his commission came not before the death of the Messiah, but rather after the death of the Messiah and after the Messiah had risen to heaven. And so the lesson that you can draw is that you are a prophet of the Lord, or you may be a prophet of the Lord. You don't know. You drifted away from the Lord. You went and you drank and engaged in all sort of sexual immoralities, even though you are a prophet of the Lord, and you didn't know you were a prophet of the Lord. But the time comes when you change, and it is not a change that you did yourself. It's the Lord who changed you. And so in the case of Saul, Saul didn't change himself. It was an encounter, a spectacular encounter on the road to Damascus that changed Saul, and for Saul to know that he was a chosen vessel of the Lord. And the voice of the Lord told him that he was a chosen vessel of the Lord, and the Lord directed him to see Ananias for him to be healed and begin his assignment as a chosen vessel of the Lord. And so, how do you know you're a prophet? You may not know until there's an encounter. In some cases, the encounter is dramatic, and that will confirm that you are a chosen vessel of the Lord. You are a prophet of the Lord. And we are still on the question, how do you know that you're a prophet? And the next way or method that you know you're a prophet is through prophetic messages. And there are messages that come to you. It may be a sermon in the church. It may be a communication from somebody, and that is a prophetic message. And the prophetic message is not coming directly from God. It may come indirectly from somebody else. And that person may not even be a Christian. That person may not be a believer, but the Lord will use him to confirm that you are a prophet. And I'll give you examples. In the African context, there are some people who have the power of divination, and they're able to see the future. They are seers. They may not be Christians, they may not be worshiping God, but they are able to see the spiritual realm, and they're able to tell if somebody is a prophet of the Lord. After all, in the Bible, in the case of Paul, the sorceress knew who Paul was, and the demonic spirits who encountered the Messiah knew who the Messiah was. He was told by a spirit that, I know who you are. You are the Messiah. Have you come to destroy us before our time? The point I'm making is that a prophetic message can come from anyone, even including people who are not believers, and they will tell you directly that you are a prophet. And I also want you to know that if somebody is set apart as a prophet of the Lord, the witches know. The witches in the neighborhood, the witches in the church, the witches in your family, the occult people, they know who you are. They know you are a true prophet of the Lord. And some of them can tell you because they see the light around you. They will, if they don't tell you, they don't want to tell you. But some people will tell you when they see the light, the true light of God around you, you are a prophet. And I'll give you an example. A woman has a child, meets somebody on the street, and the woman tells the person who the woman meets on the street, tell the woman, your son or your daughter is a prophet. The person who's telling you, he may not even be a true Christian, a believer, but he has a spiritual discernment to know that somebody is a vessel of the Lord, because it's a matter of discerning the spiritual realm, and you have to note that even the agents of Lucifer are able to discern the spiritual realm. After all, Lucifer is operating with spiritual agents, and they know what is happening in the spiritual realm. And so the agents of Satan, the spirit, demonic spirit, if you are a true prophet of the Lord, they know who you are, and they can tell you that you are a prophet of the Lord. And so how do you know you're a prophet? You know you're a prophet because somebody told you. It doesn't mean that anytime somebody says you're a prophet, it means it's true. But what I'm telling you is that in some cases, you will not know that you're a prophet. The source of the knowledge may come from someone who necessarily is not a Christian. So prophetic messages. A prophetic message came to the Zachariah, the priest Zachariah. And in that case, it was a message from the angel Gabriel. And the message to Zechariah was about his son, John the Baptist. So, how did Zechariah know that his son would be a prophet? It was a prophetic message, specially delivered by the angel of God, Gabriel. And I also said that a prophetic message that somebody is a true prophet of God could also come from someone who is not an angel and who may not necessarily be a Christian or a believer, but somebody who has spiritual discernment to tell you that you are a prophet. And it's true, you are a prophet, and somebody is telling you are a prophet, and the person who is telling you is a prophet is not a Christian, is not a believer, is somebody who has a spiritual discernment, spiritual powers. It could be even a divination, but it's a prophetic message coming to you. The Lord uses every means to communicate His message to the world. After all, if you look at the Bible, pagan kings, heathen kings, Nebuchadnezzar and Pharaoh, the Lord communicated uh, uh, with them, gave them spectacular dreams, and those dreams were related to the end times, related to the chosen people of God, the Hebrews. And so the Lord chose the heathen, the pagan, to communicate a prophetic message to the world. And so you know that you're a prophet because of a prophetic message. It may not come from a pastor, it may come from somebody who is not even a believer, but the Lord chose him to let you know that you are a prophet. How do you know you are a prophet? Persecution. Persecution. You are a prophet and you are persecuted. So in the ordinary life, you encounter some problems. It could be marital problems. It could be economic problems. You may have problems in the profession that you are in, accountant, lawyer, medical practitioner, and a business person, and all of a sudden you encounter problems, financial problems. That is persecution. It's a spiritual persecution. And why is it the case? It's the case because as a true prophet of God, um, Satan agents will be assigned to you to wear you down, to fight with your prophetic mission, to deceive you, to do certain things so that you will defy your prophetic garment. You are a true prophet of the Lord, and Satan will send men, women to you to engage you in sex with the purpose of defiling your prophetic garment. And when we talk about persecution, it comes in different forms. You will be persecuted, and the persecution will lead to you realizing your identity as a prophet of God. Why do I say that? I say that because when you are persecuted, there's only one way to run. Run to God. And that's the time that you'll be reading the Bible. That's the time you'll be fasting. That's the time that you will intensify your prayers. And in some cases, that's the time that you will go to church for the first time. There are some people who go to church when they have problems. They go to church only when they have problems. There are some people who go to church once a year, on the eve of Christmas, on the eve of New Year. I know in the African context, there are so many people like that. They are not regular church attenders. They go to church on special occasions. Some of them go to church when they are invited. But when they are under persecution, they will seek the Lord. And when they seek the Lord, that's when the Lord reveals himself to them. And so that their prophetic identity will be revealed by God. Because at that time, they will be praying more, they will be fasting more, they'll be reading the Bible frequently, and they will be spiritually in tune to the communication coming from the Lord, because the Lord communicates to those who pay attention. So many things have distracted our attention: the internet, the lust of the world, material wealth in the world, gossip in the world, envy in the world, paying attention to things that are irrelevant, rap music, secular music, entertainment, watching satanic and demonic movies, following celebrities, idolatry. All those things prevent us from hearing from the word, the Lord, hearing the word of God, and prevent our spiritual discernment, our ability to hear communication of the Lord. After all, you don't even read the Bible, and you don't know the word of God, and the Lord speaks to you based upon the word. And how will you understand what the Lord is telling you if you have not read the Bible? You don't know his word, and you are a prophet. The Lord speaks to you based upon the word. The Lord gives you dreams and visions based upon the word, but you don't know the word. You don't read the Bible. So how will you know you're a prophet? When you go through persecution, your comfort zone is shaking. And when your comfort zone is shaking, that is when you will seek the Lord. You will run to the wilderness. And the scripture is very clear. The Lord will lure you to the wilderness, and where you are alone in the wilderness, then he will speak to you. When you are in the wilderness, your attention will be 100%. You will not be distracted. The Lord lures you to the wilderness to be able to talk to you, so that you will know your assignment, you know your identity as a vessel of the Most High. Let's take the case of John the Apostle, the one who wrote the book of Revelation. He was not in a fancy hotel. He was confined to prison on the island of Patmos as part of his testimony for the Messiah. So he was persecuted, and it was orchestrated by the Lord so that John will be confined in a place where he will not be distracted by the events going on in the world. And when he was on the island of Patmos as an old man, and he was preparing to die because his brethren had been martyred, it was at that time when Apostle John was under intense persecution that the Lord spoke to him and gave him the revelation of the end times. And at that time, John could write because he was in the wilderness, he was in the prison, he was under persecution, and he had all the time to write the revelation of the Messiah for us to read. And that's how we got the book of Revelation. We got the book of Revelation written by Apostle John, who was persecuted. He was sent to prison on the island of Patmos, and he had all the time in the world in the prison to write the book of Revelation. And so for you, you're a prophet, and you probably have not listened to the word of the Lord. How can the Lord listen to you? You were chasing dollars, you were chasing money. Your family was more important than the Lord. Your friends were more important. Your financial well-being was more important. And so the Lord had to take all those things away from you. The idols that you were worshiping had to be taken away from you. You would be you will be dragged naked to the wilderness, and you are in nakedness, you are persecution. You will begin to hear the word of the Lord, and at that point, you know that you are a prophet of the Lord. It's not everybody saying is a prophet is a prophet, and the prophet is called by God. The prophets were called before the foundations of the earth. Prophets were called before they were born. Ezekiel, Zechariah. And so when somebody opens a YouTube channel and or speaks on a radio show, and he knows the Bible very well, and or he's able to predict one or two things that comes through, that doesn't mean that that person is a prophet. The prophetic mantle is special. The Lord knows his prophets. And even the prophetic channels that you watch on the YouTube, are they registered under the throne of the Most High? That the Lord know the names of those channels, those who say they are prophets or prophetess, that the Lord know them. You are not a prophet just because you call yourself a prophet. You are not a prophet just because some people call you a prophet. Not everyone is a prophet. The prophet is called, and there are so many ways of calling the prophet. You may be a prophet, but you don't know you are a prophet. And somebody has to tell you you are a prophet. An encounter has to come your way to confirm you are a prophet. A burning bush experience has to come your way to know you are a prophet. A prophetic message has to come to you for you to know you are a prophet. And for those who dream, you frequently dream, and the dream have special quality in them. Read the Bible and pray about it. After all, Samuel didn't know he was a prophet. Jeremiah didn't know he was a prophet. Moses didn't know he was a prophet. It took special events, circumstances, and in some cases, direct communication from God and his angels to let those people know they are prophet. So I want to encourage you to pray so that the Lord will confirm your prophetic identity. But there are a lot of people who claim they are prophet. There are a lot of people who are worshipped on the internet as prophet. They ain't no prophet. A word to the wise is enough. I'm leaving the links of this video in the description box. Thank you for watching this video.